Good day and welcome to the program Issues in the Polity, a segment on Broadcast Delight on King Media, where we always here to bring things that will make you and do your work smoothly such that you'll be happy doing it and you'll be productive. Good morning once again. My name is Fauzia Salakosoni. Issues in the Polity. We talk about issues that is making waves in the country here. Today, as usual, we have our in-house policy analyst who is always doing justice to whatever issue we bring forth. He is Mr. Morufdin Bello. Mr. Morufdin Bello, good morning and welcome again to this segment, Issues in the Polity, today on the program.
Good morning, Fauzia. Thank you for having me as usual. Good morning, viewers. Hope we have a fruitful day.
Okay, and we are also delighted having you every time on the program. Today with Mr. Morufdin, we want to look at what is now in the society, what is going on on this social media everywhere is the new national anthem. One, why do we need this particular development as we speak?
I can't answer the why. To be very honest, I can't answer the why because there are divided opinion about it. People are saying it's not the right time. It's the right time. Why drop the old national anthem for a new one or the older one? Or why adopt a national anthem written for us by foreigner as against the one written by a Nigerian? The issue for me neither near here nor there. The angle I want us to look at it is that Nigerian citizens need to be enlightened to know that we are now in a democracy, and in a democratic governance there are things that shape decisions, and so we have to be active so that we can be part of the decisions. Two things come very handy. Like I used to say in discussions, that democracy in itself is not an end, it's a means to an end. So I'm one of those who believe that irrespective of the system of government that is being adopted by a country, they are all a means to arrive at somewhere, to provide good governance, to provide development, whether it's democracy, whether it's autocracy, whether it's communism, feudalism, whatever you call it. The primary purpose is to provide governance. So people need to understand which of the system is being adopted in their country. What are the procedures? How do things work in that system? Democracy has its own ways. Communism has its own ways. If you are living a communist mindset in a democratic setting, you have problem. So you need to have a democratic mindset in a democratic setting, and that is the only time you can be comfortable in the system. And that is where I think Nigerians are feeling. We are still living in the autocratic area where we react to government decisions rather than be proactive in being part of the process to that decisions. We are making noise about the anthem. Nobody followed up pre-discussion on the anthem. I hope I'm communicating. The problem is that we all sat back and saw the House of Assembly, the National Assembly, passing that law, and then we begin to make noise.
But let me come in, Mr. Morufdin. At that junction, how sure are we that the public, Nigerians, that this thing is going to be made for? How sure are we that they were carried along? Were there public hearing where people had to put in their input?
To be fair, I think they were carried along. And I will say it with all sense of responsibility. We voted somebody. He brought a manifesto while campaigning. Are you getting me? And the assumption is that once election is over and the majority voted the person, we have all voted him. And the assumption also is that we voted him on the basis of his manifesto. Not because we like his face. Even though in Nigeria, that is usually not the reason why we vote the candidates. Most of the people who voted Asiwaju today, I'm sure, did not even listen to his manifesto. They don't listen to his town hall meetings. They don't watch his campaign. They just love him and voted for him. The same thing applied to the other candidate during the election. Majority voted them for tribal and also many primordial reasons. It is very few people that assessed all the candidates on a scale and pick the one they prefer based on performance and the reasons and the arguments. Asiwaju Tinubu, for instance, told us in one of his campaigns that if he has his way, in fact, that was the right language he used, said, if I have my way, I would reintroduce our old national anthem and jettison the current one. He said it. So that is why I said Nigerians are aware, we are just pretending. Because that is a fact. He said it. But because we don't listen, we cannot to even say, what are these candidates saying? Let's listen to them. We just want to vote somebody because it's from a particular region, he's beautiful, he's handsome, he has helped me before. Reasons. I'm not saying Nigerian took the wrong decision. I'm just saying those are the sentiment behind our choice of
candidates that we voted for.
So, when they are now taking some decision, those decisions seem strange to us. But if we had listened, we will know. Tinubu promised student loan. He said they will use student loan to mitigate strikes by ASU and also to give access to people to go to school without necessarily depending on their parent or family background. He did it. Some people have criticized that. Some people have commended it. The same thing applies to subsidy. During his campaign, he said he will remove subsidy. He did it. Now he said if he has his way, old national anthem will go. He has done it. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that some of the things he's doing,
they're already in
whether we
manifesto,
love it or not, he has told us
what he's going to do.
So I think he's just trying to fulfill the promises he made to us. Maybe when he was saying those things then, we didn't reason enough to say, were they a priority to us? For me, I am neither here or there on this anthem thing. If we retain it, fine. If we choose to go to the new one, fine. What is important is that as a country, we have an anthem. But on a personal note, I think for our current situation, looking at the polarity in the system, the divisiveness, how far we've been divided, I think this new anthem, if it really resonates in us, should solve some problems. This current anthem talk about
before let me even take the old national anthem that has become the new and the current one. No, it says, Nigeria we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign, in peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hand to our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. This is the content.
What can be
Mr. Marufdin, very beautiful, but I want to ask, because of the one we were using, the arise or compatriots, Nigeria's God, is this really going to have any attitudinal change in our people? Because the one we had before, we have so much word beautiful there, yet we are still who we are.
The question. Anthems are like oaths taken in allegiance to your country. Now the question then shouldn't be attacking the president for introducing the anthem, because we can now see the logic why he reintroduced it. This anthem talk about our belief in the country.
Yes.
That is our own land. That is what we own. It talk about our diversity, though our tribe and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. It talk about in battle we should be honored to fight for the country. It talks about peace and unity. It talks about handing over
not a banner without stain to our children.
That's honor to our children.
There no one will be oppressed.
It talks about asking God to help us to achieve So it talks about faith. It talks about virtually everything about us, deeply than the one that is just suspended. That one too, to an extent, does justice in those things.
Yeah.
It's more deeply. Now the question is, who are Nigerians? What kind of human beings are us? Why is it that everything that works easily everywhere goes wrong here? It should be beyond who is in government. Nigerian complained when Olusegun Obasanjo was there in 1999. They complained in the short period Yar'Adua governed Nigeria. But they remember that Obasanjo did well when Yar'Adua was alive. When Yar'Adua died, they complained about Jonathan. And then they remember Yar'Adua was a good president. When Buhari took over from Jonathan, they said Jonathan was good. The same Jonathan we persecuted. Now Tinubu is there. Some people are saying, God, we miss Buhari. That should tell something about us. We are never a satisfied people. We are never a grateful people. We believe so much on our tongue about God, but in our heart, He isn't there. That's the kind of people we are. And don't forget, the more we keep pretending, the more hardship that will be coming upon us. God forbid. Because God Himself told us that until we change what is in our hearts, He won't bring what we desire to us. We need to change as a people. And that is the beauty of that anthem. That anthem is reminding us of who we are supposed to be. It's reminding us of who we really are, away from what we have become. So we need to really reflect on the anthem truly and be truth to it. And that is what is important. I would advise the government, because to be honest, those criticizing the anthem and those for it are not doing it for the interest of the country. Everyone is doing it for politics. Go and check the profile of those who are loud about this anthem, either for or against. They are politicians.
Some Nigerians are even now, there's a question they sent here, Mr. Marobi, he said, this national anthem, the new old one has become the new one. How is it going to affect the economy positively? People are already crying.
That is also a sign of ignorance. Anthem doesn't have anything to do with economy. The anthem is supposed to guide you as a citizen on how to behave and what to believe about your country. You will see on social media people abusing our servicemen. People who are laying down their own life for us to sleep. You see people abusing them, calling them cowards, calling them all sorts of names. People who are facing Boko Haram. People who are fighting our enemies. What kind of human being would do that? They are Nigerians from all tribes in uniform, fighting in the name of the country, honoring the anthem, whether the old or the new. And then those of us that cannot even face a cockroach will be abusing them of cowardice. It's not done like that. Country pray for their servicemen. Citizens stand by them. They provide succor to them. And that's the way it should be. Anthem has nothing to do with putting food on the table. Are you getting me? It's a different thing entirely. But I want to be sure that if we all follow the creed of this anthem, food will be on our table. Because we will all be a just person. We'll be true to our neighbors. And once all these vices, we won't want to... People stealing $40 billion, $100 billion, for what? And you want anthem to put food on your table?
But these same people they also they load this anthem. Yeah, they are still stealing those
billions.
billions.
I'm saying that. I remember during the speech of the president, he said, we are educated. That is why we have the opportunity to be here. He was saying that when he was presenting this anthem. All of us here are educated. That is why we were here. And we were supported to get our education. So why don't we dedicate ourselves to supporting the generation unborn to get same education? What he's trying to say indirectly is that the kind of opportunity they had, let them give it back. So it's not about the anthem, it's about us. It's about who we are. The day we realize that our primary problem is
That we had our primary problem.
the problem will solve. Like I used to say, you cannot gather thieves and ask them to choose a leader, and then they will choose a pope.
No, it's the same tip that they're going to choose.
So if we have a government that are bad, it's because we are bad. If we have government that are good, it's because we are good. There's no other way to it.
All right. Before we go on the program, Mr. Marufdin, you've spoken well about the essence why we need to have this. As thinking deeply about the words in this anthem will make us a changed person. What would be your advice to Nigerians as far as this national? Because it has really generated a lot of comments on the social media and everywhere. What would be your advice to all Nigerians in regard to this?
My quick advice on this matter will also be a general advice for living our lives. Why do Nigerian borders themselves about what they don't have control over? Whether they cry or shout or fight, the House of Assembly, the National Assembly have passed this law. The President has assented to it. The only thing that will stop that law is for the National Assembly to rescind it. So why fight on what you don't have control over? Most schools today will have rendered that anthem. No matter how big you are in Nigeria, if you are in a public gathering, you must render the anthem. If you don't want to render it, you will keep your mouth shut. You cannot render another one, and you will still stand up while it is being rendered. So why are we fighting over it? As a principle, I don't fight what I cannot control. I would rather concentrate my effort on what I can control and do that right, and leave the one I cannot control to God. And in any case, is it not just for us to render an anthem and go our own way? And don't also forget, when you look at this issue of anthem from economic perspective, it's going to bring food to the table of some people. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Printers will print new pamphlets for the anthems. Historical issues have changed. Authors will come up writing about it. These are economic issues too. Why is not putting food on my table? It's probably going to put food on somebody else's table. That person too is a Nigerian. Just like contract being awarded by government are putting food on other people's table. When it comes to what I do someday, it will put food on my table too. So that's my perspective to it.
All right. What it simply means is that as it has come, we should just take it and live with it. Before we call it a day on the program, we want to thank Mr. Marufdin Bello, our in-house policy analyst, for always doing justice to whatever we bring on the program. We say thank you so much for being part of the program today again, Mr. Marufdin.
Thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure being in the studio again.
All right. That is it on issues in the polity, but we will not leave this program without saying the national anthem again, the old one, which has become the new one, so that we can get used to it. I'm very sure my cameraman is already used to it. He can say it now from the beginning, the first stanza to the third stanza. But let's take it again before we go, so that it can be a way for us to learn it. It says, Nigeria, we hail the... Okay, Mr. Marufdin wants to do that for us. So that we're more tongue of you. So it says, Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue might differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians are all proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign, in peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hand to our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Please, let's try to inculcate this and be saying it now, because this is a new answer. We just hope that the essence of bringing up this will definitely be achieved. It is to change our mindsets, to make us a better Nigerian wherever we are. Like Brother Mr. Marufdin has said, when you think deeply about this word and you are so conscious of what you do, you want to be patriotic, you want to follow all this. We only pray that God will help Nigeria to continue to be a good one. God bless Nigeria. Wherever you are, always say this to Nigeria. Fauzia Salakosani is my name. That's how much we take on the program. issues in the policy. See you next week on another episode of the program. Please always pray for Nigeria. Say God bless Nigeria every time you wake up. And I'm very sure with all saying this, God will definitely bless this country. But if God bless this country, every Nigeria will definitely enjoy it.